Yes, yes, yes. What is up? What is up? MCR family, another semi-weekly edition of the show, live on YouTube, podcast form, and all podcast distributors. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Going to be talking all things boxing today. Canelo Alvarez refiling his lawsuit with DAZN. We obviously have Manny Pacquiao back in the news. We're not talking about Conor McGregor, though. We're talking about Mikey Garcia, saying that he's going to fight him 100%. We also have Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder not happening this year or happening sooner. We're going to dive into that one. It's not happening this year, guys. I've called it from day one. It's not happening this year. And what else do we have? We have a ton of topics to get to. Gervonta Davis, Leo Santa Cruz being moved. A lot of fight announcements. Regis Prograis is back. Winham Manlothan is out of retirement and back fighting knockout CP Freshmart in a fight we've wanted for years. A lot to get into on today's show. So without further ado, let me get to my co-host, the one and only Gary in Dallas. Gary, how are you?
It's good to be back. It's going to be a fun show today. Lots to get into. We're not going to touch on that golden contract card or the bronze contract, like Rob called. That O'Hara Davis fight was just awful. One of the worst fights I ever saw. It's up there with Sergio Mora and Shane Mosley. I don't think anyone got touched, but somehow McKenna had this nasty cut over his eye. I don't even know what that came from. That fight was awful. So we're not going to talk about that. We've already spent too much time on
it. 10 seconds.
Wow, that was bad. That fight was bad.
I didn't watch it.
You missed no action. I can promise you that.
I was busy writing my next script for the next episode of the documentary. But yeah, I saw the text messages from you guys. I was like, nope. How do you go check that one out? And also, like, this weekend's like a very weak weekend for boxing, to be honest.
There's a PBC card that's supposed to happen, but there's no names attached to it. Have you seen this?
The Fox Sports 1 card?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even the DAZN card is...
The DAZN card is kind of weak.
Kind of.
Okay, I mean, it's not good.
It's not good. And like, even for like a UK audience, I wouldn't say it's a great card for you guys. Like, Joshua Buatsi versus Marco Calic is probably the most uninteresting fight we've had all year long for one of the biggest prospects in the sport. Honestly, like, Joshua Buatsi gets so much hype from Sky Sports and from Matchroom and DAZN, and he's fighting Marco Calic. Oh God.
Yeah, but reverse it. Let's say if it was an American prospect like Garcia or Teofimo before Teofimo won the belt. Like, I mean, those fights are still televised, right? Like when Teofimo fought Nakatani and things like that. Like, I mean, they still headline cards.
Yeah. I wouldn't say like some of those cards were that great, obviously.
No, they're bad cards, but I mean, they can go budget. I don't know how much they're paying.
Also say Nakatani is better than what's his name? Calic over here.
Nakatani was not bad. I mean, he was like a little bit sloppy. He's hittable, but he was so long. He threw crisp. Like, that guy might be okay. Like, he's not gonna be a world champ anytime soon or anything like that. But that guy Nakatani was okay. Like, he was not bad at all. I think there was some upside in him.
Rob bringing up Yard, Spielman. That was shit. That was a shit matchup. Dano Dubois versus Schneider, whatever his name is. That fight was trash. Like, I just don't care for those. I'll be honest. Especially with like nowadays, is like things have been kind of crazy around the world, and I'm doing other projects. Some of these cards that like just don't matter, I skip. Is that bad?
I mean, the main events are definitely skippable. Like, sometimes there's prospects and things on the card that you want to see. Like, even if it's like that guy Dalton that Rob loves. Like, okay.
And let's put it this way: when you guys tell me to watch someone or a fight, I definitely go back and watch it. Rob's saying that Chantel Cameron's on this card. I like seeing Chantel Cameron fight, but I don't really remember her opponent. Maybe I need to look up who she's fighting and like remind myself here. But Chantel Cameron's also in a division that's not the best right now. No, 140 has some good people. It's just a in-between division. Chantel Cameron's one of those people that I want fighting other women, other fighters. Same with Brodsky, like. And they don't need to fight like top 10 opposition. Like, I'm not assuming that prospects need to fight elite competition for it to be interesting. Just comparative matchups that are, again, competitive. That's all I want. But digressing, Gary, we can get into the news because we have a lot to get into. Let's get into the Canelo Alvarez and DAZN topic, as Canelo Alvarez has refiled his lawsuit for breach of contract with DAZN, Golden Boy, and Oscar De La Hoya. Gary, your thoughts on this happening and thoughts on most likely this meaning that Canelo is not fighting this year?
It's just hard to believe Canelo's not going to fight this year. I mean, they said there's an outside chance, but that I don't understand how. It's already October. Yeah. How the heck is he going to fight this year when he's in the middle of a lawsuit with his promoter? No, he's not going to fight this year. I'm glad that I know you want to see him fight this year, but and they said that it's still a possibility, but how? How is that a possibility? It's not. He's not fighting this year. So he's going to be out of the ring an entire year at the absolute prime of his career. That's unfortunate. I know a million things came up this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping they figured something out, but obviously they didn't. Obviously, we're going to go through this. I mean, and their lawsuit, they're only asking for the $280 million. They're not asking for, pain and financial hardship and things like that. They're only asking for what's in the contract, which is not great news. I don't know anything about this judge that's overseeing the case, but it looks like we're going to go to a jury trial sooner rather than later, I would think, right? I mean, they seem to be putting this through quickly, which is what Canelo kind of asks for, which, I mean, it makes sense. He's got a very short career. It could go on for years and years if it goes through the normal system.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
They're going to have more arbitration. Maybe they come up with is this it, though? I mean, I guess the contract with Golden Boy and DAZN is basically over, right?
Rob is saying that he still wants to work with DAZN in the chat. I don't know what really, from any of this news, implies that, to be quite honest. Maybe I didn't read something, or maybe I read over it because I just kind of skimmed all these articles from Coppinger and Jake Donovan. But here's the issue. I think that's not really the question here, Rob, is whether or not Canelo wants to work with DAZN. He wants to get paid what he's owed, what he's signed on with the contract. So if DAZN doesn't want to pay that, then he probably doesn't want to work with DAZN. It's kind of just that simple. I kind of think DAZN is not really the issue. It's the breach of contract is the issue, of course. And if DAZN honors their contract, then of course Canelo doesn't mind fighting with DAZN, or on DAZN, I should say. But if they want to continue to not pay him what they agreed to pay him, I don't think he's going to want to fight on DAZN anymore. That's just kind of obvious. And it might be a separate order from obviously his issue with Golden Boy, but I do believe the two are interconnected in a lot of ways. At the end, maybe they won't be. Maybe he's still on DAZN and not with Golden Boy, but we don't know that yet, to be quite honest. And I don't know how Oscar and Golden Boy are sort of playing together and getting along together in the sandbox right now, because they have had issues. You okay there, Gary?
Yeah. Oh, good.
How about you refresh your page really fast? Refresh your page really fast, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, just refresh. It's okay. I heard something. I'm like, what happened? Then I Gary knocked his computer over. Rob saying he made a counter to DAZN's new offer. If you want to leave, why counter? Because countering would be a faster process than trying to get out of your contract, Rob. That's why, right? Efficiency and simplicity right now might be part of Canelo's mind. He's 30 years old. He wants to fight as soon as possible. So, of course, he countered DAZN's offer because that's how it works. But again, if DAZN doesn't want to honor the contract or honor what he wants in his counter offer, then yeah, I don't think he's going to want to work there anymore. Obviously, if you work at a job and 2 years into it, they go, guess what, man? You haven't been meeting these marks, so we're going to pay you half of what we said you're going to pay you. Would you want to work there still? Most people will say, no, I don't want to work there still. That's fucked up. Especially when the marks that they're talking about are fight Oscar De La Hoya, right? Or
yeah, I mean, they're not
Masvidal, right? Those are the marks they're looking for. There's some stupid marks. Come on.
It's silly and ridiculous the fights they want him to take, right? When they said a premier name, I just assumed they meant Triple G.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, no, your promoter or two guys who don't box. It's none of the premier names were active fighters, active boxers. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Triple G was one. That was it.
Triple G was not a premier name. It was De La Hoya and then the 2 UFC guys. That's it. Those were the old.
They mentioned that after the fact, but Triple G was always a premier opponent for him because that's the fight they always wanted, right? So Triple G and Oscar De La Hoya, Jorge Masvidal, and was it Khabib? Right, it was Khabib, right?
Yeah.
It's just interesting. Think Cap in the chat is saying this sounds like a Canelo Golden Boy issue, not a Canelo-DAZN issue. I don't know how you can infer that, to be honest. Like, yes, Golden Boy is involved with this issue, but it's a DAZN deal through Golden Boy to Canelo. So
I don't understand how you say it's not a DAZN issue when he's suing DAZN. Yes, he's suing DAZN for hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes, it's a DAZN issue.
Yeah, I just don't get that. And I don't get also like this like knee-jerk reaction from like our UK audience, like defend DAZN. Guys, it's okay. Like, this happens a lot where like networks or promoters get into lawsuits with fighters or athletes or entertainers. Like, this is a really common thing, guys. It's okay.
Or you could just honor your contract and pay the man, right? That's the purpose of the contract.
They could, Gary, but I mean, capitalism. Anyways, what do we have here? Any other thoughts on Canelo, Golden Boy, and DAZN? Because obviously we still don't know the finality of this topic. We just know that it's going to continue, and that most likely this means that Canelo is not fighting this year just due to the court process.
I'm just interested in seeing how it legally plays out, right? Because he's not asking for anything other than what he's guaranteed. So why would there be a settlement? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. It's not like he asked for the 280 million and 120 in financial hardships, and because he couldn't pay his bills because you didn't pay him this year. Like, he didn't ask for any of that. It's just the remainder of the contract. Why would he settle for one? I mean, maybe it's like when a player in basketball gets bought out of his contract, right? I'll give you 140 million, and then you can go somewhere else, right? All right, so I get 140 million, and then I can go negotiate fights, maybe. But like, I would just. It depends. It's all on. I don't see this going any other way besides Canelo getting what he's asking for, because what he's asking for is contractually obligated to him. He's not asking for anything more than what the balance of the contract.
Yeah, I don't know really what the legal argument is for DAZN here, to be quite honest. That like Golden Boy deceived them in negotiation, right? Like, that's fundamentally their argument from like the first reporting, that they had an issue with DAZN and Eric Gomez and how they portrayed how easy it would be to capitalize on this industry, I guess. But fuck, man, like Ricky Ellis in the chat, shout out to Ricky, saying DAZN needs more boxing people running, especially at DAZN US, because if their only content, premium content, is really boxing, and you have no one in that executive room that's really a boxing person, then guess what? Of course, you're going to get got in a negotiation with Golden Boy. And I don't even think that really happened, to be honest. They came out and were public in terms of Golden Boy. Like Joe Markovsky was, John Skipper, like they were publicly on record stating that, hey, we're okay with overspending. We're okay with throwing out all this money. We're the new kid on the block. We want to flex our muscles. So that's what they did. And now they're upset that didn't work out. So they want to cancel contracts. Like, that's all it is, honestly. That's why they canceled the MLB contract. That's why they're trying to undercut the Canelo deal, because the Canelo deal is so much money. Somebody asking about Triple G, whether he got a pay cut. I don't know if they have to, because I think most of Triple G's deal is like stock in the company, isn't it?
That was like the kicker, right? But yeah, which I don't want that now. But yeah, the contract was still good. I think it was a decent chunk of change, maybe 8 or 10 million a fight, and then stock in the company, and then ownership in the company. Which, I mean, look, now Triple G has to honor his contract. You want ownership in this sinking ship? You got it, right?
We all know that Triple G Zemarata is going to bring in millions of subscribers in the U.S., right? Totally going to happen, guys.
Are they just going to make Triple G versus Canelo now? Like, they're going to have to, right?
I think that's what we end up getting. If I have to predict, I think we end up getting the first fight back is just Canelo Triple G. Maybe we get Triple G versus Emirata. But I don't think DAZN wants to spend money on tune-ups right now. They want that fight, and they might even be a way to like settle and say, hey, give us like 1 or 2 more fights and then you're done. We can like clean up the contract faster. Like, I don't know. It seems like every party's disgruntled here, though. Like, I will say that. Like, I don't feel like they get back together and everything's fine and they finish out their entire deal. I don't think that happens.
The one thing I wanted to add, what you were saying, because they're going to say that he's not fighting any premier fighters and they got duped in the negotiation. Why that I don't think, and I'm not a lawyer, but why I don't think that stands up legally is because in the contract, I forget the verbiage they use, but to use like a Hollywood term, they gave Canelo a final cut as a director. He gets to pick, right? He gets to sign off on the opponent he wants. If you didn't want that, then you shouldn't have gave it to him. He has the right to pick the opponent, and he gets the final say on it. I mean, what? I mean, that's in the contract. That was what to me is like, oh, you guys don't really. I mean, you want a lot of things, right? Like, it ain't gonna happen. It's like when a cop tells you, "I want you to stop recording me." Okay, I'm not gonna do that, but I get that. That's what you want, right? But like,
I want $1 million.
Exactly, I want a lot of things, right? Like,
Rob asked me a good question. I don't know the answer. I don't know if you know the answer, Rob. Maybe you can find it while we're doing the show if you can. Saying, is Triple G's equity in DAZN US or just DAZN, sinking ship or thriving company? And I think that's a good point. Like, if he has just stock in like DAZN Germany or DAZN Global, it's a far different issue than if he just has stock in DAZN US. I think we can all agree on that. I'm curious actually now is what that is. Whether his stock is just in this one region, but I don't think that would happen. If he did, that's really dumb to go.
He's got out of the contract, right? I mean, look, that contract, that's the point of the contract.
Because look, if you're Triple G, you're Ukrainian, right? Like, you're like Eastern European, and you buy stock into a U.S. company that's new instead of the stock into the global brand, which has massive, massive market shares in Germany and Italy and stuff like that, you're stupid. Like, you have bad negotiating skills. Your managers suck. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I'm just being honest. But digressing. Let's get to the next topic here, unless you have any other thoughts.
Nope. No.
Right. Good. Fury Wilder 3, no longer scheduled for December 19th. Aram says it could occur earlier. Though we do have Fury out there saying that he wants to fight in 2020 against Wilder or someone else, and he mentioned that, fighting in the UK, fighting at home, taking a tune-up. He mentioned that sort of ad nauseum. I think it was to talk sport. Now, I'm a little bit conflicted here on what take to have, because obviously we have seen PBC move events now to Texas because they have attendance there, right? So the idea of Fury Wilder 3 is off that date. The sky is falling. It's not happening this year. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it does happen sooner. Maybe they can put it in the U.S. and put it in Texas and have some sort of percentage of fans at AT&T Stadium. Is there ways around this? And I'm conflicted as to what to think, because I don't think Fury is going to wait around till next year to fight. So either he takes a tune-up in the UK or he fights Wilder in the US. I don't know if Top Rank can pull off doing an event at AT&T Stadium or another venue in Texas to have 20 to 40% capacity or whatever it is. I'm just really curious, and again, conflicted as to what happens here. I don't know what happens here. If I have to predict, I think the second we saw boxing from the PBC side move to Texas, it made big fights far more likely in the U.S. That's just a reality. But I have no faith in Top Rank's logistics.
So they need this to be their moneymaker. And I agree with them not putting it on the week of the best college football of the year, which is that week, right? So I think that's a smart move. They could move it somewhere else, right? But the problem is moving it back from there is now putting it up against the last week of the NFL season or the NFL playoffs. You want to do that? I don't want to do that, right? Putting it on a Saturday, there's NFL playoffs on a Saturday, right? So now we're talking about after the Super Bowl. So, I mean, I don't know. They said they might push it up. Maybe. But
yeah, soon.
Then you're putting it in Texas because Vegas still is Nevada letting crowds or not? I don't like. I feel like you get a different answer every time I ask the question. They're not.
I think they were talking about it, but that was never official. And Texas is official, so they're going to do that, I think. And plus, again, we have Gervonta Davis there, Santa Cruz, which we're going to get into. That's moved to Texas. Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, that's moved to Texas. Why wouldn't Wilder Fury get, moved over there? Like, I would assume Al Heyman called up Arum and said, "Hey, Bobby, I just moved to my biggest pay-per-views to Texas. We should probably do that for Wilder Fury." Like, I'm assuming that phone call took place.
Yeah.
Now, does it actually happen? Because it's the rematch where I'm trying to remember the exact particulars of the rematch clause. It's now 60-40 split for Fury's side, and Top Rank is the main promoter now, right? Even though PBC can be attached, or Wilder Promotions or Bomb Squad Promotions can be attached, Top Rank is now the lead promoter in this. It's not a true co-promotional event, I want to say. So Top Rank has to take the lead in the logistics of it, and I just don't trust Top Rank.
No, I don't trust Top Rank either. I don't know. I think moving it up makes more sense than moving it back, except that if you move it up, you can't get a crowd. So now you have to move it back, and if you move it back, now you're moving it all the way past the Super Bowl to have people watch it and buy it. And Fury's not going to wait that long. I mean, now we're talking until the second week of February at the earliest.
Yep.
If Fury's not going to, that'd be a year between fights. Fury's not going to wait that long.
No, I tend to agree with that. If it gets pushed back in terms of it, after this year, then 100% Tyson Fury takes the tune-up in the UK.
But is he allowed to? I mean, like,
I would assume they would allow it.
Because he came this close to losing what the hell? Otto Baleen. That fight, like Terrence Crawford said, anyone else, that fight could stop because that cut was nasty, right?
Hey, Otto Baleen's a real deal, man. Okay.
But I'm saying he could lose the tune-up. He almost lost one in the last time.
He demolished Travis Kaufman, man.
Travis Kaufman's arm fell out of his body, but okay.
Same thing, okay. Anyways, again, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. I think there's a lot of options on the table now when maybe just a few months ago there wasn't as many options. So curious to see. And plus, again, I haven't had the caveat of we are in the second wave here. At any point, do these attendance or regulations get shut down to no, you can't have anyone in your football games or in your arenas? That could happen. I don't think it happened in Texas because it's Texas, but who knows? Moving on, Mikey Garcia says Manny Pacquiao is fighting me next. 100% not Conor McGregor. Let me get this away of my new apple pie in a boxing scene. Gary, your thoughts on Pacquiao fighting Mikey Garcia? Is it going to happen finally? We've been talking about it seemingly for, a year and a half now?
At least, yeah. Potentially. I don't know. Like, this was something that was rumored. It was never like this is almost a done deal. This is close. So, like, Mikey Garcia saying that might just be wishful thinking. Like, what's a bigger fight monetarily from Pacquiao? Mikey Garcia or Conor McGregor? Conor McGregor, right? So if I'm Pacquiao, that takes precedence to me, right? It's obviously the easier fight. It's not even a real fight, and it pays me more money than fighting you. Like, I think a part of me thinks this is just wishful thinking by Mikey Garcia. But I'm not in a negotiation room. I haven't seen any contract. I don't know. But a lot of that's just, I think, is wishful thinking.
It depends how real the McGregor shit is. I don't think it's that real, to be honest. I think that was like leveraged by McGregor to try to, again, leverage the UFC to make a fight that he wants and get the pay that he wants, etc. But who knows? Like you said, it's a lot of money if that fight was to ever get made. The oil kings and monarchs in the Gulf states will love that shit and throw out hundreds of millions for that type of fight. We just know it would. We know there's relations between Pacquiao and the Middle East. We know there's relations between the UFC and McGregor in the Middle East. So, of course, that's possible. This isn't out of the question. But in regards to like what is realistic in like a legit boxing fight, Mikey Garcia is still the most legit opponent in terms of like logical opponent. It matches name value with sort of low risk to a degree for Pacquiao. Like, it just makes a lot of sense. So if Pacquiao wants a legit fight, air quotes, legit fight in boxing, Mikey Garcia is still that fight that makes the most sense in the world, right? Above the Earl Spence, Crawfords, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter's. Like, of course, Mikey's makes more sense to him. I don't know if Pacquiao's interested right now. I don't know where his head's at. We never know with Pacquiao. That's the God honest truth. We never know with that guy. If I have to guess prediction, I think we get Pacquiao, Mikey before either guy retires. Does it happen next? I don't know. I think Mikey ends up having to fight someone else first. I can see Pacquiao taking this year off too.
Fight Barrios in San Antonio.
Why?
Because Barrios beats him.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No.
Mikey's not a 147 pound. Does Barrios?
Dude. Barrios isn't like really 147 pounder in terms of power. Like, he is in terms of like.
He's got plenty of power.
You didn't say that.
Yeah, Barrios has plenty of power.
Hey, box rec, motherfucker. I'm going on it.
Yeah, his knockout percentage is fine. It's good.
Fine. Interesting.
It's like when your wife says fine. It's anything but fine.
54%. What's his best knockout? Velasco,
yeah. Body shot, one punch knockout.
Zamora.
He's knocked out Uday Bernardo. He's knocked out. I mean, his resume is not the best in the world, but he's knocked everybody out.
Bernardo. Ooh.
That's a guy who stands up to people. He went the distance with Kendo Castaneda. He stands up to people. And
Okay, Gary, please, if you're trying to hype up a prospect, never say, yeah, he beat a guy that Kendo Castaneda beat.
He went the distance with Kendo, stood up to him. He's a tough guy. He's a guy that goes the distance, right? Like, that's all I'm saying. He's a tough guy. I'm not saying Uday Bernardo is the best thing in the world. I'm saying he's a tough guy who stands up to people. Doesn't win fights. He loses fights. But
Menard knocked him out. Fuck out of here.
Mason Menard knocked him out?
Yeah.
Knocked him out?
Yeah, KO.
Mason Menard is the truth, though.
Yeah, meanwhile, Barrios got the TKO. Come on, man.
Second round, though, right?
Was it second round? I'm not logged in.
It was quick. It was
fucking box wreck.
Box wreck. Why do they do it? Are there a lot of people hacking in other people's accounts and trying to get boxing information? I don't understand this.
But to be fair, like, for some reason, everything logs me out.
No, they do it all the time. Like, box wreck is so annoying. Like,
Patreon, YouTube, everything logs me out, man. Pisses me off. Instagram always does that. Anyways, digressing. I think Mikey fights someone first. I think it's probably
Hooker.
Well,
it depends because Hooker's already got a fight lined up.
Who could he fight? Let me go on the rankings right now. I'm curious. Because I don't think he fights anyone that's like truly elite. Like, he's not going to fight any of those top 5 or 6 names, right? Like,
Red Cash. Oh, how about Jamal James? Jamal James deserves that fight.
Yeah, that would make sense. That makes sense.
Is it too risky? Because Jamal James has a massive reach advantage. Is it too risky for Mikey?
No, because Jamal James isn't the better technician and doesn't have more power than Mikey. Yeah. I think Mikey has more power than Jamal James, even, to be honest. No, I would pick Mikey in that fight.
I would pick Mikey too, but I'm saying, does he pose too much of a threat? I guess. Like,
no.
Is it too? Okay.
No, I don't think so. Like, an Ugas would be somebody that you stay away from if you're trying to get a big fight, right?
Yeah. It's like when you said Brandon Figueroa should fight Isawawa next. They ain't gonna make that fight. There's no chance.
Omar Figueroa. Like, that would be
that would be a great fight. You could do that in Texas too. Yeah, that would be great.
Something like that. That would make a lot of sense, I think, for like a tune-up, but like really a tune-up that's still somewhat legitimate.
No, it's a tune-up because look, I mean this in all sincerity because Omar is one of my favorite fighters of all time. He'll probably show up drunk and overweight, so it doesn't matter.
You said it, not me. Scott Brown in the chat saying Canelo is going to fight Oscar in a tune-up, then go for a triple G3. No, he's not. Please. And dude, did you see the pad work by Oscar the other day?
No, I hit it. Was it on YouTube or Instagram or where was it?
Twitter, Instagram.
Okay.
So, I'll put it this way: the dude needs to lose some weight. Okay.
I saw him in January at the Munguia fight. He was looking a little hefty.
He's a little hefty. But still has the speed. You know, it's like when Sugar Ray Leonard goes and does like some bag work. It's like, yeah, the guy was clearly one of the best of all time at some point, right? Or at least in the best in his era, had a run. Yeah, we can see that. But holy fuck, do not put him in with like a real live person right now.
Well, he's gonna fight Sergio Martinez at 160, right?
Oscar is?
I mean, probably not, but that's what that was a rumor. But Sergio is ranked like 5 or something by one of the organizations.
I'll be honest, if Oscar's ever gonna like fight someone that's like legitimate, air quotes, like I'll take a Sergio Martinez fight. I wouldn't be against that. Just don't make a pay-per-view.
Oh, it'll be on DAZN. You get some subscribers.
Yeah, but I'm already on DAZN. Get some subscribers. Yeah, right.
De La Hoya was I don't know if you remember, if you're old enough to really remember.
Dude, I grew up in LA.
I know
his era. Trust me.
But he was
my sister, my aunts. Dude, they loved Oscar.
That's what I'm saying. The ladies loved Oscar too, so your lady would want to watch him.
Absolutely, but guess what? It's been a long time since they were like, let me get. Been a while, man. Yeah, about that motherfucker in a minute. God bless him. Moving on, though, Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz moved to October 31st in San Antonio with fans and attendance. Gary, since obviously this is near your way, obviously it's not San Antonio's a little bit far, but it's still Texas.
Yeah, and I love San Antonio.
Thoughts on them moving it off the date? I forget what date it was on originally, but I know it was competing against something.
24th, which was a UFC card.
The big UFC card.
So pushing it back a week.
Yes. And now it's competing against some like bullshit matchroom card, I think, because Rob was making a joke on the group chat. But Gary, your thoughts on Gervonta Davis?
No, it's against the Inoue card now.
Oh, that's right. It was the Inoue card,
which is a real card.
Your card, actually. Yeah. Oh well.
I love that it's in San Antonio, but I hate it's that day, right? Because Halloween's like a big deal in these parts. My wife has like a costume, like a theme that we do. We're doing circus, and I'm the strong man. I can't. I was telling Rob in the chat, like my wife would rather me miss our anniversary than miss Halloween. Like seriously. So I can't. I'm not going. My wife put so much work into it. I don't want to go. My kids absolutely love Halloween. I don't know how it's exactly going to work this year, but they love getting.
You're thinking about this a glass half empty. That's good. This is the one pay-per-view we kind of all agreed we can skip.
I wanted to go though. I wanted to go down to San Antonio.
Oh, you want to, dude? Because they have fans. I was like, dude, you can't go. But I'm like, oh, I'm in California. We can't go to events.
That fight's gonna draw. I'm telling you, Barrios is gonna sell the tickets. Barrios is a big deal down there. You want to give? I don't know what they're gonna. Oh, they're gonna allow it to be packed. I mean, because that place, the Alamo Dome, holds 70,000.
Yeah, it's big.
So I mean, even if it's a quarter capacity, that's 20-some thousand.
Canelo Trout was at the Alamo Dome, right? And it was what 40-something thousand.
So even if they say no more than 20,000. Okay, I mean he's not going to sell them. But you want to give me a guess? I'm going to say it sells between 12 and 13,000 tickets in San Antonio. There are club fights in San Antonio that get 2,000. You're standing in the hallway. Do
you know the percentage that's allowed off the top of your head?
No, because we haven't figured it out yet. They're trying to see how many tickets they can sell to the World Series, which is in Arlington, and then they're going to try to make that the max. So I'm guessing it'll be about 40%. That's what Louisiana did. So I'm guessing they're going to go with that. But if they can sell more, they might go with a higher number.
That is such an ass backwards way to do it. Oh my god! Like, let's just see how many tickets we sell. Like the max we can sell.
And then
that's such a Texas thing.
I think it's going to be about 40%. Because LSU played Mississippi State, and I think they had 40% crowd capacity. But that included everyone. Like everyone not so the band and everything was in the stands, right? So that included everyone that was not a part of the game. So let's say a third, but a third of 70,000 is still 23,000. You're not going to sell that many tickets anyway. So
I think if I have to guess, like you're going to get at least 15,000 people.
So I'm saying, like that's a lot.
You have local talent. You have Mexican talent on the card. That alone's going to sell tickets.
And you got Javante.
Yeah. We know that a African American fighter versus a Mexican American fighter sells very well in the Southwest. It just has always done that. And I like the idea of it moving off the card for the day that the Khabib fight versus Justin Gaethje, because I don't want those cards competing. Not me personally.
What's funny though is you have a guy who sells really well on the East Coast against a guy who sells really well on the West Coast, and you're putting it in the middle. But that's where you're getting the fans. So
because I literally cannot put this event on the East Coast or the West Coast right now. That's kind of why.
You could probably put it in Florida, but boxing doesn't work. I mean, Florida
No. I do wonder though, like let's say if like in a perfect world, right, where we don't have COVID, where would this event go? Would it be in Atlanta? Would it be in New York? Would it be in LA? It would be in one of those three spots, not in San Antonio.
It seems like where if you put it in LA or Vegas, it's a home game for Santa Cruz. If you put it in New York or Atlanta, it's a home game for Tank. Who do you think is? I guess like it also. Who do you think is the A side in that fight? I don't know. Like I feel it's like together they're the A side, but like
I think the A side is Javante.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean Leo's never been a huge draw per se. Ticket wise, TV wise, like he's never been the biggest draw. I want to say.
I think he's done well.
There's been times he's done it like step up fights and he hasn't sold well, man. Like there's been times he's been on Fox and he's only brought in like 1 million people.
Santa Cruz doesn't sell well because I'm saying Santa Cruz was built. The StubHub was built for Santa Cruz, right? Like,
Santa Cruz is one of those guys where his star power is a little bit overrated, and I think it's because, and this might be weird, because he's a little bit boring. I think that's kind of it. Maybe I'm wrong. I wish like Santiago would be in the chat because he's Hispanic. He lives in LA too. He has a little more of a finger on the pulse of that market and their sort of perception to sort of Latin fighters. But my perception is that like people like Leo, but they kind of just like him. You know what I mean? Like there's no real extreme feeling there.
I'll root for him if I have to, right?
Like, yeah. Like to be honest, when he fought Abner Mares, those were like relatively the bigger fights of his career in LA, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think he was like the local guy. It was Abner. Abner Mares was the guy that people sort of latched onto more than Leo, I want to say.
Yeah.
But again, that was like a few years ago now, so it's hard to remember. But digressing, moving on. On that card, though, Regis Prograis will be on the card versus Juan Heraldez. I don't care about this fight per se, but I do care about Regis Prograis being back, so that's cool. Good to see that.
It's good to see him back. I mean, I wish he was fighting somebody a little bit better. I get it's his first fight at 47. Even that being said, he could have fought someone a little better than that.
Anyone better.
Yeah.
Literally anyone. That would have been nice. Moving on. Oh, man. He's back, Gary. He's fucking back, man. Wenhang Manothan. TBE, the GOAT. Okay. He is back. He heard your call. He's like, yeah, I know. I can't retire without getting this one last scalp on my resume. Taking out that upstart kid, knockout CP Freshmart. Gary, I'm so excited for this fight. I'll be honest. This is one of those fights that I wanted like 5 years ago. And just like for some reason, it was never made. They never seemed to want to make it. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Middleton gets out of retirement and is fighting is the number 2 guy in the division that's undefeated as well. Gary, your thoughts?
I love the fight. Here's my only concern. If Metafane wins, does it help? Like, does it build his legacy? Can he ever be remembered as an all-time great fighting in these small weight classes? I mean, if he fought 5 more times and beat 5 more champs or former champs or future champs, does it? I love the fight. Like, don't get me wrong. It's a great fight. I'm excited that we have it. It's awesome that Metafane is back. Does it do anything for his legacy should he win? I'm glad he's going to get paid. I'm sure he'll get a decent payday. Probably be a career best payday, I would imagine. But does it do anything for him? Does it?
Yeah, I think so. Like it again, not a 1-to-1 analog. It can't be, right? Of course. But like imagine like Pacquiao Mayweather never fought. Like they were around each other's spheres of influence. They were in the same country fighting forever and just never fought. That would be weird, right? Like that would be wrong. And if like let's say like one of them got back out of retirement and fought the other late in their career, it would mean something. It wouldn't mean the most, obviously, but it would mean something, right? Similar, I think this means something. Absolutely. And MMAonPoint is obviously already a Hall of Famer, right? Like it goes without saying that he's going to get the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greater lightweight classes fighters of all time. He just is. His resume is great. But knockout CP Freshmart was that rival. And if you never fight your rival, that does hurt your resume. It does hurt your legacy to some degree. So I do think it helps. Is it the thing that makes us go, yo, MMAonPoint's better than Koze Galaxy all-time status? No, I don't think that happens. Right? But I don't think that really can happen with the way the divisions are now. Right? We have 105, 108, 112. That split up that happened 20 years ago, whenever that happened. That changes things. He would have had to move up, face guys at 112 to really, I think, make that sort of legacy where he's better than Koze Galaxy all-time in the lighter weight class. He's better than Roman Gonzalez all-time in the lighter weight classes. He didn't do that. That's the reality.
Right. Like at this point, is there anything he can do that would put him ahead of guys like Ricardo Lopez or Galaxy and elevate him? You know, we agree he's in the Hall of Fame, right? But you would rank those guys all-time ahead of MMAonPoint. Is there anything at this point in his career he can do to pass those guys? I think the answer is kind of no, not at 105 or even 108.
Sorry, repeat that. I was reading the chat.
Is there anything he can do, MMAonPoint, at this point in his career? Right? Guys like Ricardo Lopez and Galaxy, you would rank ahead of him. Is there anything CP Freshmart at this point in his career can do to ever pass those guys? And I kind of feel like the answer is no.
You mean MMAonPoint or Freshmart?
MMAonPoint. Well, whose legacy do you rank higher? I mean, Freshmart's
MMAonPoint.
Yeah,
MMAonPoint's undefeated.
Right.
Freshmart had a defeat. I forgot about it. He had a defeat like some years ago.
Yeah.
He's had 16 wins since then. MMAonPoint's the greatest
legacy fighter. Yeah.
He's the greatest of the minimum weight division, or whatever you want to call it, right? Like that's just the reality, because you split up originally what it went from 108 to 12, right? And then they split 108 to 105 to 108, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And that happened again, I want to say 20 years ago. I wish Santiago was listening. Where the fuck is Santiago?
I wish, what's his name? The guy that criticized you for getting a weight class wrong. Because he definitely knows.
Oh, yeah, he definitely knows. He's on Wikipedia right now to know. But I see a double line in the chat, longtime listener, saying that it's not the second best guy, it's another Thai guy. What? I mean,
I don't know what that means. All right.
I just don't know how you can have that opinion that just another Thai guy. I mean, they've been 1A and 1B for a very, very long time. And they are literally 1 and 2 on BoxRec, let's say. Like I don't know how you can have this opinion, to be honest. Like it's just crazy. Anyways, digressing. I'm excited to see these guys back. I'm excited to see this MMAonPoint back fighting the guy that was his rival forever and never fought him. Anyways, moving on. Michaela Mayer is finally fighting for that title she's won against Branica, happening on the New Maloney card, like we said, October 31st. Gary, your thoughts?
I'm interested in seeing Michaela Mayer. She seems to be progressing and she's getting a lot better. Who did she just fight that she looked really good against? It was the one who fought Del Persoon. Who did she just fight? Her last fight out. She looked really good.
Oh gosh.
I can't.
Helen Joseph.
Helen Joseph. She looked really good. She looked sharp. And I never really considered Michaela Mayer as like really one of the elite women's fighters, but I think she may be moving in that direction. So I want to see her progress and look really good again.
Guys, I want to apologize. I was wrong. Last topic, I misspoke. It's not knockout CP Freshmart. It's another CP Freshmart. God damn all these Thai names. Sorry, Double I. I apologize. You're right. I do apologize. Fuck. Why do they?
Why would they do that?
Never mind. I apologize.
I knew there was two guys named CP Freshmart. Which... All right.
It's a decent fight, but it's not the fight that I want. Fuck. I hate this.
I hate boxing.
I hate boxing. Thank you, Double I, for the correction. Apologies, guys.
Actually, no. I wanted to go along in ignorance and thinking he was fighting CP Freshmart. I actually wanted that.
Don't worry, Gary. When it comes to the fight time, we're gonna forget again. It's okay. Don't worry. But yeah, I'm excited for Mailer Branica. I mean, it's one of those fights that makes sense. It's the next step up. Branika's not a bad fighter as well. I think she's like one of the champions that she should get more respect than she probably gets. I think that's probably because people just view her as that lady that had that bikini picture on the weigh-ins, to be honest, unfortunately.
She's never fought out. Was she Polish or German? But she's never Polish, right? I think she's Polish.
It doesn't say on here. I
don't think she's ever fought here. Right? I mean, I know her name because of whatever, but like I don't think I've ever actually seen her fight. Has she ever fought in America? Or
no, I don't think she's fought in America.
She's ever fought outside of.
Sure, bro. She's a good fighter. She's not bad. A little bit like a Christina Hammer, where like
okay,
she's gonna be the best person in the division, but she belongs in the top 10, top 5-ish, so to speak, right? Like she definitely belongs in the elite category. Absolutely. I think Michaela Mayer beats her, but that's because Michaela Mayer proved a lot in the fight with Helen Joseph. Like she had a mean streak in that fight. She was ultra aggressive. She threw a lot more than she did originally. I think her defense was better than it has been in the past. Like she improved drastically in that fight.
She's from Poland. I just looked it up.
Thank you, Gary. You didn't want to get wrong again.
These things are easily searchable. So
they are easily searchable. Oh shit! What the fuck? My mic just came off. Hold on.
I'll keep going.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah. No, it's a good fight. It's a good test. I'm looking at her now. She's never fought outside of Poland. She's a good fighter. I don't know if Michaela Mayer is going to win this fight. If it does, it's really telling. I think Michaela Mayer has improved a lot. Where she went from a lady, a woman, who had lots of skills. You can see she's an Olympian, like this, but there was nothing next level. Like there's like didn't really put it all together. And I think that changed a lot in the Helen Joseph fight. You saw a much more mature fighter, a developed fighter, and a fighter who is picking her spots better. What card is this on again, Matt? Oh, okay. It's still not working? I thought you fixed it. Okay. But no, it's
Dude, I don't know if you can see this, but the whole thing came off, and I think it's broken.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I feel like it's supposed to connect in here, and I think like it's legit broken. God damn it. Gary, you're gonna have to go solo here for a second. But I'll be listening. So if you want to go to the next couple topics, which is Daniel Jacobs, Kambosos Selby,
Jacobs versus Rosado. I'll go on that.
You can that cool, awesome. Here.
Absolutely. So the Zone, I guess, is still going to do boxing. The Zone USA is still going to do boxing, apparently. And on November 27th, Daniel Jacobs versus Gabe Rosado, which I'm into this because now we can say again.
Gary, I don't know what happened right there, but holy shit, you went Mr. Roboto.
Did I really? Am I still Roboto?
You're better now, but that was crazy.
Oh, wow.
You're good now.
Okay.
You're good.
All right. Jacobs and Rosado. Again, I'm into this because Rosado's obviously going to get beat up. He's going to lose basically every round. And we're going to talk about how tough he is and how he's a tough Philly fighter because he got dominated and got beat up and didn't quit. Gabe Rosado is one of these guys. He's got like 9 lives. Like people still want to see him because he takes a tremendous beating and he's a good dude, right? Like everybody likes Gabe Rosado. So good for him, I suppose. But I don't think this fight's really competitive. If it is, it's Danny Jacobs is really on the decline. But it's a good enough fight. It's good that the Zone is going to have boxing again, right? So that's a good thing. But I mean, do any of you think Rosado really has a chance in this? I mean, I don't see it. I was hoping to get John Ryder as an opponent.
Gary, refresh your page. I don't know what's happening here, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you connected via Wi-Fi or Ethernet?
Yeah. Let me refresh it.
Yeah, go do that. While I'm doing this and trying to talk. Yo, what a great show today, guys. Ricky Ellis, I see the laughing face emoji. I appreciate that. Yes, at least someone's entertained by this clusterfuck. Oh my god. I don't know what's wrong with it, dude. Like, fuck. Did I take the whole screw out and fix it? Oh, that's fucked up. Fucking live podcasting, guys. Isn't it fucking amazing? This is why people like pre-record the podcast and aren't live. Is this shit. By the way, new episode of the documentary coming out. Fuck. Gary's back though. Thank you, Gary. Good thing I have another mic arm I can use, so that'd be helpful.
Is that Murphy's Law when everything that can possibly go wrong goes wrong? Is that what that is? That's Murphy's Law?
Yeah. No,
I think this is like a comedy of errors today. I think that's what Mr. Murphy. Is there a Mr. Murphy or who is this law based on? I don't know.
Yeah, who is it fucking based on? I've always heard Murphy's Law. I have no idea where it comes from.
I think that's what I think he's laughing at us today. That is what we have today. I hope that's fixable. Does it look fixable, Matt, or does it look like that we're gonna have to? Is it just a screw we need to replace?
Dude, no. It looks like, to be honest, there's this bar right here, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like it's been fucking graded out. So like there's like a rivet in it now that definitely did not used to exist. So I don't know. The whole thing kind of came apart right here because I lost one of those things that like they're like metal circles you put like in between the nail or a screw, I should say, and what you're screwing it into.
What's like that? A washer?
Yes. The washers fell. So then the whole thing fell. So I tried unscrewing it so I can like move it around.
I would try Gorilla Glue because Gorilla Glue fixes everything, but you may not be able to swing it or move it if you Gorilla Glue it. I broke a chair when we first got married, right? My wife's gonna be pissed at me. I broke a chair, like a wood dining room chair. Gorilla Glue. She never knew it was broken until years later when it finally fell off. But no, Gorilla Glue, way better than duct tape, and like it's cleaner. Fact. Gorilla Glue is where it's at. I wish I would have bought stock in Gorilla Glue when it first came out.
Yo, that's fucked up, Rubisky. This show's falling apart like DAZN.
No, we're
what the fuck? How am I supposed to fix this shit? Oh my god, I'm gonna do it. Look, here's what we're gonna do, guys. Because we have like only like a few more topics to get through. I'm just gonna run through these topics. We're gonna end the show early. I apologize. But clearly, like, I'm not going to hold this fucking heavy-ass mic in my hand.
Can you take the mic out and hold on to the mic like you're talking into it?
I would have to disconnect it, yeah. But
all right.
No, I can do that. Hold on. I can do that. Talk, Gary. Talk about Gabe Rosado and Daniel Jacobs, because you went Mr. Roboto again.
Oh, yeah. So we get to watch Gabe Rosado get beat up again, which is good, I guess. For Jacobs, he gets a quality win, a name on his resume. Gabe Rosado gets some more brain damage, but gets a payday. But I think Gabe's got to have some decent money at this point. He was in the Rocky movie. He's fought everyone, right? Like, I wish like Gabe Rosado would just, say, hey, I'm a likable guy. Maybe I have
I like how your thought process is like, yeah, he's been in the Rocky movies, man. He's good.
Hey, those movies were popular.
They were.
I just like everyone likes Gabe. Gabe is one of the guys like no one dislikes him. He's the Sublime of boxing. The band Sublime. No one dislikes Sublime. If you don't like Sublime, there's something wrong with you. No. Sublime is the band. Like who's ever heard? Love is what I got. Like this is awful. This is the worst song I ever heard. Turn this off immediately. No one's ever. Bob Marley. Is that a better example?
Well, no. Okay, first off, you're comparing Gabe Rosado to legendary fucking bands.
Sublime is legendary? I like Sublime.
Dude, you're talking to someone that grew
Oh,
up
he's from
in
Long
Long
Beach.
Beach. I grew up in North Long Beach. My
Yes.
uncle knew them. Okay, remember the dog that was a Dalmatian?
Lou Dog, yeah.
My uncle knew Lou Dog.
Really? Okay.
Lou Dog was grossly racist, by the way. Grossly racist. I'm just telling you. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Sublime is Long Beach royalty, man.
My point was nobody dislikes Sublime. They ever put a Sublime album on, they're like, oh, this is awful. This is terrible. We need to change this now.
True. That's definitely true. Gabe Rosado is not Nickelback. You know, we all agree on that. Absolutely. But oh my God, I'll say this: Gabe Rosado is one of those guys I don't care to see fight anymore, and it's not because he doesn't still put in entertaining fights, because he still does to a degree, right? It's not because he's a bad guy or anything like that. It's not because he has me blocked on all social media, which I don't know why he did that. It's because I think he's taken a lot of punishment in his career, and he can probably do other stuff.
That's what I was thinking. Like, there's other things. Like, he's likable. He talks well. Like, he could do commentary. He could do the podcast, except he has Matt blocked. You know.
Dude, there's a lot of people that have me blocked for some reason, and I don't know why. Because I don't interact with boxers online.
Did you say something about Gabe Rosado on the show? That seems like really overly sensitive. Like, if he blocked you because you said he sucks or something, like that seems really hypersensitive from a professional athlete.
Remember what was his name?
That movie star.
Was it Top Dog Williams? What was his name? Fought Adonis Stevenson. What was his name? Like Thomas Williams? No.
Yeah, I'll look it up right now.
His name was Top Dog Williams. I know that. Dude, that guy blocked me.
Thomas Williams Jr.
that guy blocked me literally like the first day I was on Twitter.
All right.
I don't know why.
He also lost to Marcus Brown after that too. So I mean,
all even
whatever. Yeah. Sensitive. Start blocking people because they said something that they don't think you're good.
Dude, I got put in Twitter jail last night.
Yeah.
I was arguing about the Bolivian coup with Canadian Jose. I think you remember who Canadian Jose is.
Yeah. From absolutely.
Because he's Bolivian, right? And obviously maybe a little bit wealthier. So he disagreed with my take on the coup. And I had some other Bolivian piece of shit come in, or a Bolivian piece of shit come in that was like a fascist motherfucker. And we argued all night, right? I finally muted him. 2 hours later, I go on Twitter and I'm blocked out Twitter for 12 hours. I was pissed.
It just seems like if they really dislike you, like Top Dog Williams, can't they just block you? I mean, isn't that easier? Like, I mean,
it's not that hard.
It's not that hard, guys. No, it'd be all sensitive.
I would never get the people that like jump into a conversation and then get like butthurt and then start like blocking, muting, or like reporting.
Yeah,
like you came into a conversation with like other people were having, and then you got upset about it. Like, who the fuck are you? Anyways.
Yeah.
Daniel Jacobs going to wash Gabe Rosado. I mean, I think this one's going to end within 10 rounds.
Rosado's tough though, but I don't think he lasts the whole round. I don't think he can last the whole fight. I think Jacobs will stop him late.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about how tough Rosado is. Like, yeah, but is this beating necessary? Does he have to take this beating?
I don't like this fight. I'll be honest. In terms of like, no, it doesn't make sense. Fucking, let's be honest. Gabe Rosado's a 154 pounder.
Yeah, it's where his best days were.
Like he's fighting at 168 against Daniel Jacobs. Why? Like no one wants this. And it's honestly, part of it's because 168 is just a bad division. Like, it's not a deep division. It's not a particularly star-studded division. It's definitely a sort of dichotomy at the top between PBC and Matchroom, right? And he's a guy that I still believe isn't he still advised by Al Heyman?
I would think so, yeah.
But he's promoted by Matchroom still, I want to say. So he's stuck in the middle between a Caleb Plant, David Benavidez option, or a Billy Joe Saunders, O'Callaghan Smith option. So I think he's at a crossroads here career-wise, what he does next, and a tune-up at 168. There's no like legitimate tune-ups. Right? There's no guys in the bottom half of the top 10 that really would make sense for Daniel Jacobs, except for maybe like an Andre Durrell, who we always mention in this context, and that's the only name we mention in this context.
Yeah.
Like, where's Jose Uzcategui? He hasn't bounced back since he lost to what's his name? He lost to KO Plant, but then he lost another fight. Who did he lose to?
Uzcategui. He lost to the Mayweather fighter. Hang on one second.
Yeah, and he went on to another fight. I forget who it was. But like, there's 168 sucks, man.
It's not great. It's not great.
No, it's one of the worst divisions in the sport. That's just a reality.
Lionel Thompson, that was the guy's name. It was on the
He did a good fight. That was a good fight.
Yeah, it was on the Tank Davis card.
Thank Cap bring up a matchup. Jacobs Lemieux. Yeah, I think that would be a better fight than Gabe Rosado.
Because Lemieux's already beat Rosado silly. That's all. That's a better fight.
And Lemieux's not a guy that started at 154 and then moved up. He was a 160 pounder and moved up. And I want to say, like, has Rosado ever won a legit championship?
No.
So Lemieux was a legit champion.
He beat Josh Clottey at 154, and that was like his claim to fame. And then he's lost really all of his other fights. So he had the draw with no, he lost to Martin Murray. Or did he have a draw or did he lose to Martin Murray?
Who, Rosado?
Yeah. That was a really tight fight. I don't remember if he lost a really close split decision or if it was a draw.
I can look it up.
But I mean, yeah, he's lost all of his meaningful fights for the most part. He's got 12 losses. So, I don't know. He's got 12 losses. And he's lost to every good fight. He's got knocked out by Charlo. He got knocked out by
It was a loss. It was a loss to Martin Murray. He had a draw with Luis Aries.
This is a guy that didn't pan out. Luis Aries was a good prospect, but Luis Aries never beat anybody.
Joette Gonzalez is going to be like Luis Aries. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, that's a very expensive mic. No, that's yeah. Fucking his last win of note, because he had a win last year at the end of it against Herberto Ocho, but like that doesn't count. His last win of note was against Glenn Tapia in 2017.
Yeah, and then he lost
because he only had one fight in 2018. And that was against Luis Aries.
That was a draw. Okay. And Glenn Tapia is that another Philly guy? Is Glenn Tapia also from Philly?
Yes, he's a Philly guy.
Okay, I mean that's the kind of fight like he better beat the hell out of Glenn Tapia.
double on the chat. Aries lost to Luke Keeler. All you need to know, dude. Aries made Luke Keeler look like an all of a sudden like legit top like 15-ish guy, right? That's how crazy that was. And then didn't Luke Keeler get the Andrade fight after that?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I want to say that's maybe not the exact 1 to 2 turn of events, but anyways, let's go on to the next piece of news because we do have the very last topic is a fun topic, somewhat fun.
I think I know what the last topic is.
Right now though, Kambosos versus Selby title eliminator lands on October 31st on the Usyk Chisora bill, official. I like this fight a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense for Kambosos on his way up since he beat, who did he beat? Mickey Bay?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it Hank Lundy? I always get those.
It was Mickey Bay. Let me confirm them.
Am I the only one that gets those two mixed up all the time in terms of the resume? Like which one fought who? I always do. The resumes are the same. Digressing though. Kambosos versus Selby makes a lot of sense. Selby's a former champion, and Selby picked up a contentious win against Ricky Burns in his last fight. And I think George Kambosos is one of the most underrated prospects in the sport. I know Liam Roskell, who's our resident Australian listener, will be happy that I said that. But I think George Kambosos routinely does not get mentioned like he should. I think there's an argument, and I've made the argument before, that he's a better prospect, or at least he's a more accomplished prospect at this stage. People like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia. I don't think that's really a hard argument to make, especially if he goes on to beat Lee Selby. Definitely not a hard argument at that point. But I'm excited to see where Kambosos goes. Like I think Australia is one of those markets that when it does get a good fighter, they've become fans. Like they definitely go out and support. And if Kambosos and Tim Tszyu pan out, great for that market. I'll say that.
And you're gonna take Kambosos, right?
Absolutely. Because I thought Ricky Burns beat Selby.
I was gonna ask you that. I don't remember. I remember that fight being real close. I don't remember who I had winning. I mean, it was real close. I'm gonna take Selby. I think Kambosos has the wins against Mickey Bay, Ray Perez, everybody.
I was right. It's Mickey Bay. Yes. Always go through gut, ladies and gentlemen. Always go through gut. Unless you think.
No, I'll take Lee Selby.
Unless you think all CP Fresh March are the same, then do not go with your gut. You're taking Selby?
I'm gonna take Selby. By vicious knockout. Selby's a puncher.
Are you doing that just to be a contrarian?
No. No, I don't think Selby's washed like everyone else does. I think he'll be all right. I think Selby's
No, it's very different. I don't think Selby's washed. I think he was never good.
Okay.
Like, think about it, dude. When he was called the Welsh Mayweather, who did he beat? Like, I'll go on his resume right now. Like, he beat no one of note on his come up.
No, he beat again. These guys, Granada. Help me with it. Ivani Gradovic, is that right? He beat him.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Dude, I'm on his resume right now.
We're talking about Lee Selby.
Yes.
Yes, he did. He beat Gradovic and he beat
He beat Ivani Gradovic. Ooh.
And then he beat
Eric Hunter and Jonathan Barros.
He also beat Fernando
Montiel? Come on, man.
Yeah. You're killing it with these names today, by the way. You do a good job.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Stop it.
I mean,
no.
These aren't.
Dude. Fernando Montiel had his pro debut in 1996.
Yeah, I know.
The year after I was born, okay?
That's crazy.
No. Yes,
and it was at probably 115 pounds.
It doesn't say, but the first fight that has a weight to it is in 1998 for him, and that's 114. All these fights were in Mexico.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and 112, all 112s, 115, 118. We moved up to 122 in 2012. Moved up to
the way
2014.
The way he got knocked out by Daenerys was awesome. Remember the Daenerys knockout of him? He was having convulsions on the floor.
Oh yeah, shit. Dude, remember when we thought it was like the greatest thing ever? I miss those times.
Daenerys Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely. But digressing, no, I don't think Lee Selby has ever proven he's elite. He proved that he was above regional level. That's about it to me. Like, he proved that he's better than just like the UK club guys. But that's not much. And I think Kambosos is going to be world level. Like, I think he's going to be elite level. I think we're going to have a parody of Haney, Tifim Lopez, Ryan Garcia, and George Kambosos at the top of 135.
You forgot somebody.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Nope.
Oh, I should make that fight. Hector Tanahara versus George Kambosos. Let's do that. Let's do that in 2021.
Well, dog walk him. It's not even close.
I do feel like Kambosos is good, and he never gets his name mentioned in a crop of lightweight. You're right. He should have his name mentioned. I guess maybe it's because it's Australian and Americans don't care about Australian fighters. You know.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, think about the markets we're talking about. We're talking about the U.S., talking about Mexican American markets, like people like Ryan Garcia, Hispanic market, people like Tifim Lopez. It's just different. Like, it's just an automatic difference there in terms of like your attention in the U.S. media sphere. I wonder, like, because I don't really know, maybe like Liam Roscoe, if you ever listened to the show back, and please comment below on the show. I would really like to hear of any like Australian outlets, like boxing outlets, boxing websites that are Australian, boxing podcasts that are Australian. Are they talking about Kambosos a lot? Like, is he a name that when boxing's brought up, they bring up Kambosos and Tim Tszyu? Like, is that common now? Or is it still just Jeff Horn? You know, like that's what we need.
Can't be Jeff Horn anymore after that last outing. No more bringing up Jeff Horn. No. Although he did beat Pacquiao. You can never take that away from him.
He did.
Who did you score that fight for?
I want to say I scored for Jeff Horn night of, but I don't think I actually scored it the night of. I think I was just watching it for fun.
Yeah.
And like everyone, like you were still shocked by the outcome. But I want to say when I went back and scored it, I think I scored it for Jeff Horn.
Because like if you didn't score from the beginning, which no one did because everyone thought he was going to get knocked out, right? The early rounds were close. If you scored the early rounds for Jeff Horn, he wins, right?
Yep.
If you scored it for Pacquiao, then it's a very, very close fight. Pacquiao wins. But whoever you, and everyone was outraged by it. It's like, well, because you weren't scoring the early rounds because you just assumed it wasn't going to go to late rounds. But that was I think I scored it for Pacquiao by one single point because of the knockdown. Or it was a 10-8 round. I don't think he ever knocked him down, did he? He just battered him.
Yeah, I don't think he knocked him down.
I gave that a 10-8 round. I had it 6 rounds to 6 though. It was like that was like one of the decisions people were like, no, there's no robbery here at all. Like this is a very difficult fight to score. It's a very close fight. And I think probably like most boxing people, I'd say probably at least had, if not more, scored the fight for Horn. And so when people go back and look at that, it's like, no, that fight was not a robbery at all. Now I do think if they would have fought in America, not in the Philippines, in the heat, like if they fought in Vegas, Pacquiao wins the fight, but they didn't. They fought
They didn't fight in the Philippines.
And they fought in what did I say? Philippines. They fought in Australia. Yeah, the heat in Australia.
Same hemisphere.
Same hemisphere.
Yeah,
if they would have fought in the Philippines, Pacquiao definitely would have won. But I think like Foreman. If Foreman would have fought Ali in Madison Square Garden, Foreman beats him. But he didn't. They fought outside in the heat in Zaire, and Foreman didn't want to be there, and he was drained from the heat. And so Ali beat him. But so you got to beat him. That's where the fight was. So
excuses.
Whatever. But does anyone disagree with that? If Big George isn't drained from the sun and the heat outside of Zaire, George wins the fight.
I don't think it would have mattered. I think naturally Ali has better cardio, so therefore he won. Boom. Logic. Moving on. What do we have here next? Ooh, Rashidi Ellis fighting still not relevant welterweight Alexis Rocha. I would say though Marlon Esparza fighting Salam Urbana is a really good fight for women's boxing. I like that one a lot. All of this is going to be on the Munguia Terriano Johnson card. And what date is it? What date is that? October 30th, the day before Halloween.
I just wanted to say Alexis Rocha just beat Brad Solomon, so let's give him his props.
What? Okay, Brad Solomon, the guy that didn't fight for 3-4 years, right?
I feel like it was a decade. I forgot I was alive.
Dude, all of a sudden, every single prospect is fighting him and beating him up. Why? Like, what did he do? Who did he hurt?
Brad Solomon beat who? Solomon won a fight real early in his career. He might have lost the fight real early in his career. Oh, Demetrius Hopkins. I get it, right? But that was a 140 fight, I think. Was it a 147? I don't remember. But that was the one that kind of put him on the map as a prospect. But that was probably 10 years ago. Seriously, it was probably 10 years ago. And I don't.
Oh my God. Dude, I just want Rashidi Ellis to fight someone that we know. We know Alexis Rocha. Like, he's not bad. But he is somebody that I don't want to fight Rashidi Ellis. Why can they not give him a top 15, top 20 name? Right?
Because, I mean.
We're not even asking for top 5 here. Like, top 20.
Alexis Rocha is a decent looking prospect. Again, he's not exactly setting the world on fire. I don't know why they make this fight at that time. Like, get Rashidi Ellis, a veteran. I agree with Matt. Get him a good fighter who's been in there, who's been through the ringer. Because if he beats Rocha, I think it's a good win, but no one cares him. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't give him that experience that he needs. It doesn't put him in the ring with a world level fighter.
What's crazy, Gary, is that, like, for all the people that were like clamoring for like Rashidi Ellis versus Virgil Ortiz, right? This is the lesser version of that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that I don't get. Like, if you're gonna kill off one of your prospects, fuck it, go for Virgil Ortiz versus Rashidi Ellis. Because then, like, us boxing hardcores will get hyped for that shit.
But what if it's a great fight? What if Ellis styles, skills, wins the round, and then Virgil Ortiz eventually breaks him down? That's not losing your prospect. That's highlighting two prospects.
I understand like the nuance there. But beside that, from a pure like promoter logic standpoint, if you're gonna kill off a prospect potentially, why do it in this half-ass way? Like it shows time and time again that Golden Boy just does half-ass promotion, half-ass matchmaking.
You want to know who they should have him fight? Konstantin Ponomarov. He beat Rashidi Ellis. I always thought he was pretty, again, not a world beater, but I always thought Konstantin Ponomarov was a pretty good fighter.
Dude, what has he done?
He hasn't fought since he lost to whoever he lost to in Russia in a.
Yeah, he went and beat Rashidi Ellis. Oh, Rob just jumped back into the show and said, "Why the hell is Matt holding the mic?"
Long story,
dude. Rob,
Murphy's Law. That's why, Rob.
Dude,
Murphy's
Rob, please rewind the show. You gotta watch the whole show, man. Oh my god, it was. I'm so surprised I'm still on this show. And I just didn't just cancel and be like, we're out of here, guys. Sorry, fuck it.
Matt's in a chill mood today. He must have had his edibles.
And I did not. I had edibles in a long time. Oh my god.
You remember?
You know why I don't have edibles? And this is like, I don't want to sound like a snob here. And I'm going to sound like a snob. So that's why I want to preface this with saying that edibles don't do anything for me. So like when any like people like talk about like, oh, I take like one edible, like I'm in space. It's like, that sounds awesome, man. Like I've never had that in my life. Like I can take 1,500 milligrams of THC in edibles, right? And I'm telling you, like I just get a little sleepy. Like it's not like a good high.
That was Gary Johnson when he was running for president said he hadn't smoked weed since he declared he was running for president, right? And since it's not true, you said you smoked weed, whatever, like 2 weeks ago. It's like, no, I said I took edibles.
I remember that.
No, I took edibles.
Dude, that explains the whole moment so much more now. The dude was just high on so much edibles, man. Well, what is Aleppo, right? Like, metaphysically speaking, what is it?
It's an idea. It's lines on a map, bro. It doesn't exist. You can't see it from space, bro.
It all makes sense. I know there's like 5 people that get those references, but 4 people that get them, well, that's what we bring to Mixed Combat Radio. And
he should have said he was being really esoteric. What is it, man?
Oh my god, that just proved that they're like for like left-wing comedians, especially like the media sphere, because there are some that do that, especially in the YouTube sphere. You guys missed a boat on making Gary Johnson like a hippie. Fuck, that would have been a great character bit. Digressing though. Think Cap is agreeing with me. Edibles don't do anything for me since high school. Yes, that's definitely true. Moving on though. Rashidi Ellis is gonna dog walk Alexis Rocha. Please fight someone in the top 15. Please. Moving on. Murat Gassiev, the guy that hasn't fought since he got dog walked by Alexander Usyk, is finally fighting at heavyweight, guys. Finally, it's happening after 2+ years. It's here, and he's fighting Kevin Johnson.
And not the point guard / former mayor of Sacramento. The 50. How old is Kevin Johnson? He's probably older than the basketball player. How old is that guy?
Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just like what has happened with Murat Gassiev's career, man.
I mean,
it's so sad.
It's been 2.5 years. I don't think you're gonna throw him in with a killer, honestly. So this is what happens when you take 2.5 years off. You know, you fight Kevin Johnson. And I said and I like Gassiev. I know his last fight was what it was. And I said this guy will have a heavyweight strap. I don't know, man. 2.5. He's not young anymore. He's 27, right? Like, I don't know what happened to him, man.
Yeah. And like he's still young enough. Like he can come back, right? Like it's not like he's 35 now. Yeah. He's 27 still. He was like 24, 23 when he fought fucking Usyk.
It's 24. I said, okay, he's got, you know, he's a child. He's a kid still. You know, like he's 27 now, which means he's reaching his peak and he just hasn't been in the ring. I don't understand what's happened with his career.
PSK is saying rumor is Gassiev has a chronic injury. I know he obviously was injured for the planned Joey DeWalco fight last year. I think it was an arm injury, something like that. I don't know what it was exactly. I forget. But if you're 27 and you have chronic injuries right now, then maybe you just can't do this. And that's just the sad part, man. Like that's just the reality. Like some people, like their bodies just can sustain punishment more than others. Like that's just genetic sometimes, right? Like pain threshold, you know, how strong your ligaments are, how strong your tendons are. Like some of that is a little bit genetics at time. So maybe Gas is just injury prone, and that happens, and that's sad.
I just looked it up. I have it open up. Kevin Johnson is somehow only 41 years old, and he's ranked 101 by BoxRec in the heavyweight division.
Oh, that's only 101 guys. That's not bad, dude.
He's lost.
How many guys has he lost to?
He's got 17 losses. So he beat Jan Pablo Hernandez back in August, just recently.
Who?
Johan Pablo Hernandez.
Who?
Yep. And then after that, he had lost 5 fights in a row. Won a tuna fight against a guy who was 8-31, and then had lost to Ergovitz right before that. So he's lost.
Dude, Juan Pablo Hernandez. Because I want to actually look up who he was.
Jan with a Y. Y-O-A-N.
He beat Steve Cunningham twice.
Yeah, Cuban fighter. Yeah.
In 2011, and then stopped fighting in 2014. And then hasn't fought since 2014, and then fought Kevin Johnson in 2020.
I think he's 100 years old, too. I think Jan Pablo Hernandez is. I think he got a late start. You know, he's Cuban.
He's 35.
Oh, he is. He's 35.
35,
yeah. I guess he came over when he was reasonably young. But a lot of times these Cubans come over when they're already, like, 27, 28. Yeah, so a lot older.
This dude had a good career, man. I wonder what happened. There's so many stories like that, honestly, that like stories that you never actually hear of, like fighters that had good careers and all of a sudden just stop when they're like 29. And, for whatever reason, dude, Kevin Johnson had 5 losses in a row. Nathan Gorman, Shigabunin Aliyev, Alexander Zarkoziev, Martin Bokoli, and Maurice Wach.
And the fight before that, he beat a guy who was 8-31, and then he lost before that. So it's really 6 fights. I'm not counting the guy who he beat, who's 8-31. So it's really 6 losses.
Dude, and he beat him twice. Look at it, dude. Look at it. He beat him right in 2018, and before that he lost to Hergovich. But before that, he beat the same dude. He beat that dude.
Yeah.
What? Kevin Johnson, shout out to you, man. Someone paying you for this shit? Then good. That's all that I care about.
It was 11 years ago he fought Vitaly Klitschko.
11 years ago.
It's 30. Yeah.
I was 14.
And he fought Tyson Fury in 2012. Christian Hammer. Got a lot of losses, man.
Yep.
He beat Bruce Seldon, which put him on the map. And Bruce Seldon is best known for taking a dive against Mike Tyson.
Is that really what he's known for?
Bruce Seldon was heavyweight champion of the world. He won a vacant belt, and then he fought Tyson.
I mean Kevin Johnson.
Oh, Kevin Johnson? Yeah, Kevin Johnson beat Bruce Seldon.
He beat better guys after that. I'll give him that.
Who did Kevin Johnson ever beat? Not who did he lose to? He lost to a lot of guys.
I would say, I don't know who Bruce Seldon is. So, like, this is where you would have to, like, maybe correct me here, but, like, Alex Lepai or whatever his name is, I've seen him fight far more often.
Okay.
Than Bruce Seldon, and he beat Alex Lepai or Leopai, whatever his name was.
Yeah. I mean,
not great. I'm not saying it's a good win. I'm saying that's his best win. That's all.
Bruce Seldon was 100 years old when he fought, right? Because Bruce Seldon was good, right? Like, and Bruce Seldon had an excellent jab and he was athletic, right? So, I mean, at a heavyweight, if that's what you have, you're in good shape. Dude, and then
he beat Pinata before. He beat Harold Schooners before Harold Schooners knocked down Deontay Wilder.
I was gonna say, okay. I'm guessing Schooner is a boxer. Okay.
Harold Schooners, yeah, the guy that knocked down Deontay Wilder. Remember
the infamous
knockdown. That's just just a picture, I think, right?
This is what I don't get about people who are fans of it. Like, no, he didn't get knocked. Who cares if he got knocked down? Keith Thurman and Earl Spence got knocked down early. Who cares? Get up and win the fight. Yeah, Andre Ward got knocked down early in his career. Tyson Fury got knocked down by Steve Cunningham, who was cruiserweight.
Tyson Fury almost knocked down himself with his own punch. Like people forget that that's what he was best known for a long period of time. Was that GIF of him punching himself in the face? Am I wrong? Nope. Nope, I'm not. Okay, last serious topic of the day. Lipinets Abakadorov is postponed. That whole card has been canceled, most likely on Showtime. God fucking damn it. I was really looking forward to it.
I wanted to say, I know, again, I get it's not the biggest names in the sport, but that's a good fight.
This low-key was one of those fights that I was looking forward to the most. I thought Abakadorov looked amazing against Luis Collazo. Lipinets is, I think, one of the criminally underrated guys in the sport. And he has only, I think, improved at 147. Abakadorov is a really, I think, unorthodox boxer, too. It would have been a fascinating fight of styles and would have produced a legitimate title contender to the top two guys that have belts, Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford. And we're not getting it now.
You can't put it on FS1? Like, I mean, what do you have? I guess college football? I don't know. It's a shame that that's not going to be on TV because that's a good fight. It's a good fight. Good card.
Well, no, it got postponed.
And it's unlikely to be televised.
I don't see that.
Could put it back up.
No, dude. Okay, maybe you just misread it.
Maybe I misread it.
Okay. The Lipinets Abakadorov is postponed. So Showtime is saying they're unlikely going to televise that card on that date.
Oh,
they're going to
okay.
Card because the main event got canceled. So the undercard guys will go to other events. Since it's October, that's October. I would assume they go to like the Devontae Davis card. We might see some of those fights go there. Other events on FS1, we might see that. That's what will happen. That's all.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I forget why it was postponed. I think it was it an injury? I don't remember why. I don't think it was COVID related. I could be wrong about that. No, it was. Oh, was it a visa?
Was it a visa issue?
I think it was a visa issue. I'm trying to remember now. Sorry, I remember it was coming out. I read it and then I moved on with my day. I think it was a visa issue. I think they couldn't get either Abakadorov or something like that. A visa. Yeah, it's Abakadorov. He's a Uzbekistan native who resides in Malaysia, encountered a visa issue. That's why. You're gonna see that a lot during these times. I'll be honest. Logistics are gonna be hard for making these types of fights.
International fights like that, yeah.
Guys coming in from multiple different countries across the globe to another country they're not in. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. Scott Brown, I like this. Always bet on the Uzbeks except for Matrimov. Scott Brown, yes. Anyways, last topic of the day, then we're gonna get out of here, guys. We're not gonna get the greatest of all time fighting right now, unfortunately. It's just DAZN, PBC, ESPN. They won't pay him the money he's deserving. Adrian Broner still wants to fight. They won't fight for under $10 million, as he deserves, right, Gary?
I'm trying to. Deserves is a very ambiguous term, deserves.
The market standard right now.
He is one of the most recognizable faces in American boxing. That being he is. That being said, he's not particularly good. Oh, he's not terrible. He's okay. $10 million is a lot for a fighter who's just kind of okay. I was trying to come up with a fight.
Hey, have you seen DAZN?
They were like the Angels who gave everyone $30 million. We need a utility bill. Just give somebody $30 million. They'll sign.
Jesse Vargas got almost $2 million as the third fight from the top.
Yeah. So maybe he should go sign with DAZN. They'll give him $10 million. Oh, not anymore. He missed that boat.
I'm telling you guys, when a few years from now, maybe like 5-10 years from now, to be more honest, when we can really look back on this era in this last few years and the amount of money that was floating around, it's gonna be crazy in retrospect. I'm guaranteeing when this market collapses, here we go. Man, remember that era? That was a crazy fucking era. Billions of dollars were just thrown around like it was nothing. Great.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. If he's holding steadfast at 10 million, then he's not going to fight again. But I don't know. Is there a fight that he can get 5 for? He is a name. You know what I'm saying? We laugh at him. He's a name, though.
If he fights any of the top welterweights, he gets paid. Whatever that means, he gets paid. Right, whether it's 5 million, 10 million. I really don't care, to be honest. But I think he gets paid whatever the market standard would be. He's getting paid millions for those. 140, nothing for him there.
Keith Thurman.
Yeah, I think he gets paid $5 million for that.
There you go.
Like, dude, like Amir Khan got $5 million to fight Terrence Crawford. Like, in what world is Broner not like of that same market standard?
He is. He's a bigger name. Broner. I mean, I get he's a joke, but like whatever.
Dude, he's a platinum selling artist too.
Is he really? Is he sell?
I mean,
Oh, okay.
no, bro. Come on, man. Platinum selling artist? No.
Platinum is what, 1 million or 100,000? How much is
million.
$1 million?
It's $1 million, yeah. No fucking way. No one sells $1 million nowadays. No, it's Broner. Like, he is consistently the biggest draw on Showtime. He's a great ticket seller. He's going to get paid. Like, that's just the reality of it. Is he, like you said, particularly the greatest? No, of course not. Is he particularly good? Depends on your definition of good, right? Your barrier for who is good and not. If you're in the top 15 and you think all top 15 fighters are good, then Broner can maybe slip in there. Like, I would, obviously this doesn't happen because it's not enough money, but like Broner versus like the Delormes of the world.
Yeah, I would try to use him to build one of my stars. I would say let's put him in the ring with either well, let's put him in the ring with Boots. Well, I guess Boots isn't signed, but like if let's say they sign Boots. Let's use Broner's name to show off Boots.
That doesn't happen.
No.
But in terms of like talking about how like his ability at this point in time, I still think he beats certain level of guys like a Thomas Delorme. I might be wrong in that assumption, but I think he can. I don't think that's out of the question.
No, it's not out of the question. I mean, again, we haven't seen him in almost 2 years now, right? So the time he gets back in the ring, it'll be 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, 2 years off is a long time. But I mean, it's not. No, that's not out of the question. That's not ridiculous.
No, he's on that threshold of the top 15, just like Jesse Vargas is. Guys, he's fought already, right?
Yeah, he fought Vargas to a draw. Yeah,
kind of where he's at. But yeah, $10 million, maybe a year ago, and I think he could get that if he fought like Pacquiao again.
Yeah, well, that's Pacquiao generating it. Yeah, but again, Pacquiao, although that was such a bad showing. That was so bad. If he fights Canelo, I'll pay him not to make that fight.
I would pay Canelo so much to fight Broner.
People like to see him get beat up.
Broner would get beat up.
Antonio Margarito in a grudge match. People like to watch the other guy get beat up, fight to a draw.
Dude, Broner or Amir Khan?
Who's the bigger bust?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? And they're both draws. Can we
get Devin Alexander in that 3-rig grudge match?
Please no.
Devin Alexander got iced by Ivan Redcash. This is a guy that HBO back, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago put their chips in on. That this is going to be the guy.
And then what? Bradley beat him, right?
Bradley beat him, and then he got away with a decision. It was in St. Louis against Matisse, and that was kind of what put Matisse on the map. It's like he didn't win that fight. There's no way he won that fight. And then it's just been all downhill since then.
Too bad he kind of went crazy too.
Oh, he lost to Khan, right? He got outboxed by Khan.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Like outboxed, like cleanly too.
I think he lost like almost every round.
Yeah, Devin Alexander. Woohoo!
It did out.
Broder versus Vito Melanicki.
He'll win that fight. He'll
win that one.
I'll tell you who knocked him out though was Raymond Guajardo.
Stop, man! Like, dude, Broner dog walks Raymond Guajardo.
Guajardo ices him with one shot.
You don't believe that, do you? Not the ice with one shot, because you definitely don't believe that. But you don't believe he actually wins that fight. Clay Collard would beat him, man.
Clay Collard versus Broner. That's some kind of catch weight.
That'd be interesting. I pick Broner still.
I'm taking Broner. Broner is a world-class fighter. Like he
just fucking around doesn't grow enough. That's the only problem.
He beat Ashley Theophane, don't forget. He beat DeMarco. Like,
dude, he beat Paulie Malignaggi, okay? Controversial.
Yeah.
Controversially.
It was close. I mean, this doesn't go either way.
Yeah, it's one of those where like I really care, to be honest. I think the people that do care like a lot are the funniest people in the world, because like it's a Broner fight and a Paulie fight. No one should care that much about those two guys.
That's Broner in retrospect. At that point, the Ring magazine had Broner ranked in the top 10 pound for pound. They did.
Dude, shout out to the Ring Magazine. Well, back then he was with the Golden Boy, wasn't he? He was that dude. Dude, Ring Magazine is so fucking filthy, man. They are so nasty, man. And they have a history of being nasty too, man. Like go and like look up like the Don King shit. Where I did a video on that.
Yeah.
Scandals of boxing. Like I talk about Don King rigging the Ring Magazine's rankings and shit like that, man. Dude, fuck these shady promoters. Fuck these shady magazines. What else? Housekeeping, sort of last bit of the show. Trending Now Network, which is the hub of all of our content, the General Strike Podcast, Mixed Combat Radio. So if you want to catch anything, Trending Now Network on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, like our shows go there as well. So if you want to find our shows, they're there as well. What else? Also, I just finished the research for this next documentary episode. It took me forever. I apologize. I'm wrapping up the script as not as we speak, but after we speak. And I should get the documentary episode done in the next few days. That's really exciting. This one's really good. I really, really hope that you all go check it out. And if you haven't checked out the other episodes of the documentary series, I implore you guys to go do that. Please, please. If you're not like a dirty commie like me, like it's just good history. You know, like even if you're not a socialist like me, there's some just good history there you can find. Especially the first few episodes. Like it's not too in your face. What else? We should be back probably this weekend. Like Sunday.
There's not a whole lot this weekend. Sure, absolutely. There's not a whole lot to get into.
Sunday or Monday, if I had to guess. I do want to do more shows often. I will be honest. I do want to do more, like I've said in the past. I want to create more content, more different shows for Trending Now Network. So if you have any ideas, any sort of content that you want to create, hit me up. Like either DM me on social media, email me. All those links are below in the description. So please, like if you have a artistic or creative itch you want to scratch, hit me up, man. Hit me up. Go for it. PSK saying you taking recommendations for documentaries in terms of like what I will be watching or like what you want me to make. Either way, I'll take recommendations for anything. I'll be honest. And what else? I want to do a Patreon podcast again. I know we stopped doing that. I want to get back on that. Even though we're not pushing Patreon, it's $1 a month if you want to go support. But I want to start creating more Patreon content as well. So I know I've been saying that for like the last couple weeks. I'm going to kind of keep reiterating it for the next week or so. Try to, prime it in all of you guys' mind and sort of hammer it home and try to get some of you guys out there and part of this community a little bit more. So expect in the next week or so, again, more announcements, more sort of conversations about this. Look out for our community posts on YouTube. And again, hit me up, Matt Hunter MCR, all social media platforms. Emails down below in the description if you want to email us. So yeah, PSK saying the ladder. I forgot which one was the ladder. To be honest, PSK, was it documentaries you want me to make? I think that was the latter. Was that the latter or was that the former?
I didn't see it. The former is first, and then
I understand that, but
okay.
I don't know which one I said first.
Okay.
I don't know if I said that. Don't worry about it, Gary. Gary, your final thoughts. Go. Don't worry about it.
It's good to be back, even though thanks for bearing with us on the comedically disastrous episode that today was. Find me all from social media, 3D Boxing, 3D Boxing blog, from Texas to the world. Thank you, and God bless.
And PSK, hit me up. I'm pretty sure you follow me on social media. If you have recommendations for anything or whatever, hit me up. No worries. And we'll be back, like I said, the next few days. Peace, everyone. Stay safe. Fuck the police and free Palestine. Don't forget it. Bye.